Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Cohen Veterans Network live event. I am Megan Williams. I'm the Outreach Director for the clinic in Clarksville, Tennessee. I have two of my outreach counterparts, Taylor and Dora, with me. Guys, thank you so much for getting on here with us today. We are talking about, resilience, things that we do for self-care, and what we've learned about therapy. These are all kind of things we practice what we preach here. So, guys, I'm going to start it off with Dora. Tell me about some things that you do for self-care.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess I'll start off by saying that, of course, the reason I practice self care is because it's hard to care for others, right? If you're not doing great or doing well. So I definitely try to make time for quiet time for myself. I'm a mom. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and having a little one definitely requires quite a bit of focus, attention, effort, time. And so I try to consistently, at least weekly, make time to do things on my own, apart from my family, things like read, just getting out and doing things outside. Right now it's great hiking season here, so hiking, reading, but really I make an effort to have time for myself, alone, when I can just sort of recharge and come back, a better teammate, a better mom, better spouse, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. It is so important. I remember when my daughter was young and those running after her stages. And then I thought, as she got a little older, I was kind of out of that phase, getting to relax. No, just a whole new set of stress comes into play as they get older. And you wind up being their ride everywhere. So they're living their best
Oh
life
man.
and you're the chauffeur. So I definitely back you up on that whole taking some time. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to drive her anywhere because I'm going to be too tired.
Yeah, for
Taylor,
sure.
what about you? What are some self-care helps or tips that you take on?
Well, so you get to the point in your life where your kids are grown, right? And then you don't have to worry about that. But it's absolutely untrue. My youngest daughter, she's an assistant softball coach at a local college. So, even though we're chasing and trying to keep up with her and all the things that she's doing, we also get to use her as part of our self care with our family of getting to go enjoy some softball games and whatnot. And I know, self care is so important, as Dora said, that, our mission every day is to help improve the quality of life for other people through specifically all of our outreach, but also through all the people in our clinic. The therapy that they provide for our folks, our veteran community and family members. So if we are running on empty, we're absolutely not going to be able to accomplish the mission that we need to be able to accomplish so that everybody can find out about what it is we're doing and how we're helping people get back to better.
Absolutely. It does start with kind of, like I said earlier, practicing what we preach for
Right.
sure, which really comes down to so much as resilience. That's just another big word right now is resilience. We're all facing so much when it comes to the pandemic we've been through, having to adapt and overcome, kind of like our military folks do every day, right? Adapt and overcome. What does resilience mean to you? Or what do you want maybe our community, our nation's heroes to know how we look at it too? Dora?
Yeah, I would say to me, resilience means, being able to come back from setbacks, whether the setback is personal, professional, physical, being able to come back from that, continue on with life. And yeah, it's essentially, to me, it's essentially being able to bounce back after a tough, experience. And of course, it's important because we're all going to face setbacks in life. I mean, I don't think there's anyone on this panel who has never, experienced a setback or a tough time. And so it's important to be able to deal with that, right? Process, and come back maybe in a different way, but come back and be able to continue on with a productive, fulfilling, and meaningful life.
Absolutely. It's what it's all about at the Cohen Veterans Network, isn't it? Getting back to better and helping each other through some of those struggles. Taylor, you've been in the military yourself as well, so resilience is definitely a word you have heard quite a bit. Give us your take on it, please.
Well, Dora was spot on all that. It is truly how, when we encounter the hard times, how are we able to rely on those things that we've learned to be able to get back to better in our own lives? And it's through our holistic fitness, through physical fitness, mental fitness, spiritual fitness. And lots of times we have all seen, both in our military careers and professionally, those people that can't bounce back because they don't have the path of in their own self to be able to recover from whatever is keeping them down. So really, at the Cohen Veterans Network, what a great place to be able to find some help. And with all of our great counselors and therapists, they can help all of our folks, find those paths and opportunities to be able to come back better than they were to begin with. And I think, that's what that resilience is all about, is just being structurally sound and able to understand and then adapt and overcome any of those adversities that are in our lives.
Absolutely. I think that, you mentioned our clinicians. We are across the nation, which is absolutely fantastic. We want to break down any barriers to care for anyone. We offer telehealth. We really want people to know they're never alone. And I think that is, many of us do have our support systems, but I know I've been guilty in the past of relying on that support system a little too much. I'm burning them out with my problems. And sometimes it helps just to get a totally impartial view as well, and learn tips and tricks that maybe you didn't really realize or are afraid to try. But some of our clinicians and therapists definitely have an inside track on how to help you the most. So I've learned a lot in just working in the environment of therapy. I definitely don't come from a clinical background by any stretch, but I've picked up some of the lingo and definitely have picked up a few of the tricks. Dora, what are some of the ones that you have that you kind of maybe even either use in your own life or share with friends and people that may be struggling that you meet?
Yeah, definitely. I always, I share with folks, when I talk about the work I do, that, our therapists are trained, and, this is what they do. This is what they do for a living, help folks. And so, what a better resource, right, to work with if you're having a tough time from a mental health perspective. It's always great chatting with friends or spouses, right? But like you said, Megan, sometimes you need a little bit more support than that, or sometimes it's just helpful to have a different perspective for whatever issue you're going through. So I always share that, right? Like, it's just helpful to get a different perspective sometimes. The other thing I share with folks often is that, it's never too early. We have some amazing, amazing child therapists at our clinic. And you can start teaching kiddos, right, some of those resiliency skills pretty early on. And, the child therapy it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're a bad parent because you engage in child therapy, right? It's being proactive. I think it's a great option. And so I like to share that with folks because sometimes it's portrayed as, maybe because I'm not doing my job as a parent, I have to see a therapist. It's like, no, this can totally be a very preventative, proactive approach. And you can really help to give your kiddos some skills that they'll learn early on, that for some of us, it takes a long time, lots of experience to learn later on. So
Absolutely. I had one of our clinicians host a a class for parents on really how to help their children at home, some mindful techniques and things like that by the age groups and stuff. I sat glued to that thing
Yeah.
because I was learning stuff for myself to
Right.
use in my own life for my daughter. So, absolutely, you just some of our experts are just a little too good. You know what I mean? They're just a little too good. They're so great at their jobs, and we're so grateful for them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Taylor, what kind of have you picked up on any? Is there anything you've, just from working alongside our clinicians and some of the tips and tricks they've shared that you've kind of incorporated or share out in the community when you're out?
Well, you hit the nail on the head when you said experts, right? Because I don't know if field artillery equals good quality therapy, but anyway, I think our clinicians oftentimes just want people to take a minute, right? Just to pause. And with my own family, some of the things that we've always discussed is, never stress about things you can't change. And we're all victims of ourselves because, everybody wants to be the best them that they possibly can. And we sometimes, by only having our own perspective, sort of drive home a bad message to ourselves that when other people talk to us, they're like, hey, nobody even knew that happened. Right. But because we said a wrong word in a sentence, or, we did something and we thought somebody was, maybe poorly judging us because of our action, we took it to heart. And, sometimes we need experts help to help us just be able to pause for that minute, see what the true reality of things are. And I mean, it gets back to that own ability to accept yourself. And I think lots of times, especially for our children, is not being able to accept who they are because we're so influenced by everything that goes on in this world that people sometimes don't live for and to themselves. They're living for others. And I think that when we find are able to determine who we are, and then we take that love and compassion that we have and we share with everybody around us, that everybody gets a little bit better.
So the inner critic, that is one that I struggled with a lot. And so we call it couch plops here, where I'll walk into a clinician's office and go, all right, I'm flopping down because I just felt really bad about, messing up a speech or something of that nature while I was out. And they're like, okay, well, take a minute. And, they give us a few tips and tricks that, just didn't really think about before. So again, can't say enough about it. We can't also say enough about how we, as I mentioned before as well, break down stigmas to care. A really important message that I think we want everyone to know is that our physical health is the same as our mental health in a way. I mean, we can't be at our top and, just like we would go see a doctor for a broken arm, if we're having a bad period in life, where I apparently had about 3 years where I was diagnosed with a pretty bad health condition. My father passed away. I was having relationship issues and went through all that. And I finally sat down and talked to somebody. They're like, you didn't think you were in crisis? You didn't think you could, that wasn't bad? And we kind of brush it to the side. But sometimes it's really important that we do reach out in moments like that. So I guess, is that something you guys talk about a lot too? Just that our physical and our mental health go hand in hand, Dora?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, something that's stuck with me pretty closely since I became a mental health first aid instructor is, the idea that, we are so, much more likely to seek help and seek care for a physical ailment, right? With the expectation of recovery. Yet, when it comes to mental health, it's quite different. But if you think, say you break a bone, break a finger, break a leg, most of us, I would say, wouldn't wait 10 years to go get help for that broken bone if we wanted to heal and heal well. And, for mental health challenges, I think the average between someone experiencing mental health challenge and seeking help is like 10 years. It's like, how can you expect, the same, an outcome that you would have, when you seek help right away. So I just always think about that, and I share that with people often, right? Like, would you wait 10 years to go get treatment for a broken hand? Probably not. So let's not do the same for mental health. Because yeah, you're right. I mean, Megan, the way you explained it, I think is absolutely right. It's just as important. Um, it's just the other leg, right, for that meaningful, productive life that we all aspire to lead.
Taylor, how do you, I guess, address that out in the community as well, or even, being a fellow soldier, how do you address that kind of concern of, well, it's, I'm not in pain. Well, you kind of are in pain. You just may not notice it.
Right. Well, that's a great question. And I think that what we have to do is we have to go back to the beginning, and we're talking about basic training for all of these veterans. And of course, all the family members. I mean, really the beginning of how everything came about. And we always tell them that our holistic wellness is mental, spiritual, and physical fitness. Right. And we always work on that physical fitness. That's a thing that we do every day, and it's non-negotiable. And, we get after mental fitness with physical fitness, and then spiritual fitness. That's why we have the chaplains in our formation. And we highly encourage folks to go out there and be able to have that spiritual belief in those prayer circles when we're in combat. And now they've added nutritional and sleep fitness to that holistic fitness as well. But, it is exactly what Dora was saying, is if we let the brain be a different portion of the body than we allow the rest of our physical body to be, and we're thinking that it's okay to have that 10-year gap in care, then we're really not getting after mental wellness when it comes to all of those people that are out there, trying to improve their quality of life. And it's it really is a complex thing when you think about it. But I think that, with our recent mental health survey that we did, one of the results were in the past year underneath the COVID environment that 80% of all Americans have had some sort of mental health issue. Well, you're talking about 340 million people, and 80% of them, we should be able to have an everyday honest conversation about mental health. I mean, that's with 80% of America and that many millions of people, that should be a dinner table conversation where somebody can say that, hey, I'm struggling a little bit, and nobody feels judged because of, hey, today's just not my best day. And, luckily enough I know me and my family and the community that I come from, and I know you as well, because you're great Americans and part of great veteran families and veterans yourselves. But it's great to have a Cohen Veterans Network to be able to, if we know someone or ourselves, that we can reach into that through this great network and be able to find, that calm that we all sort of seek.
Absolutely. You can't really say that much better. And of course, as we mentioned before too, I mean, we are across the country, so we don't want anyone to ever feel alone. Is there anything you guys want to add, either on self-care or resilience, or what we do, what you want anyone else to know before we, I guess, wrap this up?
I guess the only thing I would add is that, when it comes particularly to, to families, to military and families of veterans, I think one of the things that I share out in the community that often resonates with people is that if you want to see a therapist here at our clinic, you can just call and make your appointment. You don't need a referral. Right. And so we really try to remove some of those hoops that you have to jump through to get access to care in other places. And it's so amazing as well that the time between someone will reach out to us and the time they actually see a therapist is super reasonable. I mean, sometimes it's like just a couple days, which, in my personal experience in seeking mental health care, after I left the military, that was not the case at all. I encountered so many situations where therapists were just not accepting clients, or if they were, it'd be about 6 months from now. And so I really love to share that with folks. I give a lot of credit to our leadership team in managing the clinic and the growth and the demand and balancing that right well, so that we are able to serve folks, serve them when they need it. So I think that's what I would leave the community with.
For sure, that if you call one of our clinics, someone's going to answer the phone, someone's going to talk to you, and someone's going to want to talk to you and help you get better.
That's right.
Taylor?
I want all of the people that, post 9/11 veterans and some pre 9/11 veterans as well that qualify for our care to know how accessible that we are, because people think that there's difficulty in finding good mental health care, but we've already broken the barriers to that, and we have no barriers that prevent the community of people that we serve from receiving that high quality, targeted, personalized care that they deserve. And I think sometimes that it's people feel like it's really hard to make that phone call, but once you do make the phone call, you're going to find out how really easy it is, because we have an entire network full of experts at their jobs, full of veterans that want to help veterans. And I think that because of all of our partners who Cohen has selected for us to be part of, that the continuation of care that a active duty service member, a veteran, or a family member can receive through our network is phenomenal. And, I think lots of times people don't like to attach their names with things, but I don't think across our entire network that anybody that's an employee of this organization would not put their name on this, that this is the best quality care that a veteran or a family member can receive.
Absolutely. I don't go anywhere without my business card. Like, it is on me 24/7. I'm always talking about the Cohen Veterans Network, always talking about our clinics. And the fact that just about everyone you're going to encounter within one of our clinics is either, like you said, a veteran, a military family member themselves, or associated with the military in some form or fashion. So we all really understand the unique challenges our military families face. We understand we've probably PCS'd ourselves and had to move, and all the challenges that come with that life of service. And we're all really passionate about giving back to those who have given us so much. So unless there is anything else, guys, I thank you so much for your time. I thank everyone who signed in and watched with us. If you have any questions about the Cohen Veterans Network, you know where to look. Go on Facebook, go on the internet, call one of our clinics. We are here. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
did
you.
a great job.
Bye, everybody.
You guys, get back to work.